Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Put.
Hello, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome back to First Contact Radio. I hope you had a good weekend. Getting started this week here. Got a lot going on. I'm going to catch you up over what happened over the course of this past weekend because there's been a lot that has been taking place. Our sun sign currently is in Virgo, so remember Virgo is represented in the tarot by the card of the Hermit holding the lantern high. This is the time of teaching, okay? We're all the hermits. We're all those who are sharing the light, shining the light into the world. And as we shine the light into the world, it dissipates the darkness. It's an earth sign reminding us that we are dealing with the physical world, but we have to remember that there is more than just a physical reality. The physical reality is one reality that we experience. If we get stuck in only the physical, then we have a hard time finding our way out into the solutions that we need. What we need to do is remember the fire, the water, the air, the other elements and energies that make up the physical world. Our moon sign for today has just transitioned. It has been in Cancer, a water sign over the weekend, and now it's back into Leo. So it's a fire sign represented by the tarot card of strength, telling us that we need to take that inner energy, that inner beast that we have, and we need to tame it with our imagination. The woman here represents our imagination, the white color of purity, the lion, the red color of action, aggression. We all have that within us, so we tame that with our imagination so that we can be more effective in life. So we have this underlying energy of Leo, of fire, that wants to surge forward. Use our imagination to bring it forward, but we're bringing it all through the conscious focus of shining light on others, shining light to help others to see. Okay, so this is a great time of helping, a great time of learning that we're going through at this period in this year's calendar and this dates, according to the Gregorian calendar here. So we look at some of the aspects. A number of them have already occurred. As I said, we've gone from Cancer with a couple of aspects that took place with Venus and Mercury, using our imagination, communication. Then we went void of course. Mercury and Venus then were in conjunction, discussing, having a conversation between imagination and communication. And then finally, 3:11 a.m. is when we moved into this new moon sign, Leo. 9:06 p.m. tonight is when Libra is going to get into the mix with imagination, Venus, where we learned how to balance out, use our imagination to balance out our reality, balance out what's going on in our world. And 9:20 p.m., we need to apply some discipline that, and it's a trine with Leo, so we need to discipline the energies that we're expressing. We need to discipline that creative fire that is surging from us. So with discipline, like focus that more. So as we go through the course of this day, reacquainting ourselves and adjusting to now this surge of energy that we're feeling, we need to be able to apply and make it useful. So that is the objective, to make that energy useful. The moon phase for today is a waning moon. It's 7.3% of the way there on the 1st, which is Thursday. It's going to be back to a new moon again. On the Jewish calendar, it's year 5776. 25 Av is the name of today, 25 Av. And the daily thought for today is reality in untidy boxes. Tell me you found God in a tidy package, I will tell you that it is not God, that it is a product of a clever mind. Tell me you found God in limitless beyond space, beyond time. That too is not God, that is just a greater mind. where the boundless dwells within a bounded space, where darkness shines, silence sings, bitterness is sweet, and a moment lives forever, where a man and a woman live in harmony, an adult learns from a child, a warrior spreads kindness, and enmity subsides to make room for friendship and love, where the body embraces the soul, and the soul of the body in union of all opposites. There is God. There is the essence of all that is real. Very nice. And finally, our solar wind over at Space Weather is 343.6 kilometers per second. Planetary K index at the moment is in the quiet range. We have a 2. Expected to stay that way over the next 24 to 48 hours. Coronal hole, large coronal hole in the sun right there. That's a very large coronal hole. We'll be feeling the effect from that, says over the next couple of days, 30th, 31st. M class for possibilities up to 5% now. X class is still at 1. Geomagnetic storm activity in the mid latitudes seems to be subsiding slightly from 30% down to 25, and in the upper latitudes, it also is subsiding slightly in the minor range from 20 down to 15. So all seems to be in synchronicity here with this quietness on the planetary K index. This is a scale that goes up to 9. So there you have it. So we have an Earth sign. We're dealing with the Hermit. We have a underlying fire sign, which wants to express some creativity. And that's what we're dealing with energetically today. UFO news is up next.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk, thank you very much. Today, 4 stories. Story number 1. This took place over Oklahoma. Right here, it appears to have some sort of periscope sticking out of it. Here's a great example of UFO that makes its own cloud around it. As you see in the above screenshots, there's even 3-layer trail leading from the larger cloud to the UFO. The UFO actually has a periscope device sticking out of its shoulder area. Very cool catch. Alright, so captured the video near Chickasha, Oklahoma, August 28th. I don't try to analyze what is going on in the skies. I just noticed that it's strange, not normal, and not how they used to be. Alright, so definitely something that stands out when you look at that first glance. Video itself is 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Link will be available so you can check it out, see what you think about that. This one's making the round. It took place above Yellowstone the other day. You could see it's a very large object. Here's a little close-up of it. Almost looks like an airplane. So is it something otherworldly, or is it something that is part of our secret space program here? That is the question. Definitely a large craft. It says, this is the most breathtaking and detailed UFO sighting all year long. It was caught when Jeanette Foresta of YouTube was watching the live cam and caught the whole fleet of UFOs passing over Yellowstone on live cam. At least one UFO, the first above, is a TR-3B type UFO, but is over 100 meters across. As it moves, it actually rotates just like a disc too. The shape corners are darker, signs of a TR-3B when light speed engines are turned off. When it powers up, those 3 ends will glow like white suns. Also, the center, the top, and the bottom will glow. 4 white balls of light at once. Behind it is one disc. You can also see the light reflecting off the metal sides and what looks like several other TR-3B 100-meter UFOs further away. Jeanette Foresta has recorded Yellowstone and posted it to YouTube many times before over the years, so this is not a fake. She keeps a watchful eye over the area, over the park. Yellowstone was allotted 3,468 square miles of land by the U.S. government, so obviously the U.S. knows about an active alien base or bases in this area and hoped that the stopping construction would limit activity in the area. Alright, so let's take a look at the video right here. The eyewitness says, I have another one ready to make public. Let's give it a minute. the same one. Maybe take a better look at them all. There it is right here. I took the mouse halo, which is in the very first video I did a few months ago. It was kind of got in the way. I felt like I should do a better job of it because it's a once-in-a-lifetime capture. Alright, so you could definitely see there's something moving above there. Above Yellowstone. That's quite a large object. I'd have to say it's very unique. Certainly we've seen many different types, but I can't recall seeing one kind of like that. And you see a couple of them going through. Alright, I'm going to leave the video for you to check out. Move on to the next one. This one takes place over Utah. Witness depicts low-flying cylinder UFO over Utah. Little example of what was going on here. A witness at West Jordan in Utah reported seeing a cylinder-shaped UFO floating and changing colors before moving away slowly. According to MUFON case 78051, the witness said the UFO was traveling at 7,000, or they were traveling 7,000 south in Redwood when he noticed two lights floating under 500 feet. Initially, he thought it was just a plane, but the lights weren't moving. When the witness got closer, he noticed a cylinder-shaped figure in between the two bright white lights, which later turned into purple, red, and blue. As he passed, he looked behind and saw the UFO slowly moving towards the northern side of Utah while changing into three colors. According to UFO MUFON investigator Robert Crow and Carrie Crow, the witness claimed to have seen a door that was centered on the cylinder approximately 10 feet by 10 feet. The witness explained that the door is similar to an airplane that rolls up. The witness did not notice the source of propulsion from the flying object. The investigators tried to find other witnesses in the area for 4 hours but failed to find one. They also contacted the local West Jordan Police Department to know if there was any report related to the strange event, but the local police have received no report. The investigators disposed the case as unknown after failing to find another sighting of this description in a 1,000-mile radius. Okay. And one more interesting looking one, very pyramid-like. This was caught just 20 meters away from a home over Ireland on the 24th, in Donegal, Ireland. This UFO was captured at sunrise. Witness says at family home in the very remote country Donegal, Ireland. I woke usually early, 6:30 a.m. and instantly alert. Decided to video and photograph the sunrise, something I've never done. Took several pictures and videos before and after. The object appeared in the photo with no resulting foreign unexplained objects. Nothing appeared in the sky at any time. My instant reaction was that perhaps my iPhone camera was broken. However, I couldn't understand how many pics immediately before and after photo in question didn't have a huge black triangle apparently hovering in the sky. I was in shock for the rest of the day. The blur of the UFO indicates that it was shot fast in front of the window, stopped for a split second, then shot off at light speed. Definitely a very good picture. So, boy, these are some very interesting sightings, aren't they? Seems we've got some more up-close sightings, a little bit larger, different types of objects. So, par for the course with all that's going on in the world these days, don't you think? That is our UFO news for today. I'll be back. We shall continue on.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People shouldn't be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of
9/11 was an inside job. Kennedy was killed by the CIA. Jimmy Carter saw UFO. Answers to secrets you need to know. So wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Patriots arise. It's time to demand the truth.
All right, time to demand the truth. Let's continue on here. So over the weekend, there's been a lot that took place, a lot of news and information we need to catch up on. So let's get started here. The first one, well, this involves all of us who are involved on the internet. Internet giveaway to the UN. If the U.S. abdicates control of internet stewardship, the United Nations might take control. When the Obama administration announced its plan to give up U.S. protection of the internet, it promised the United Nations would never take control, but because of the administration's naivete or arrogance, UN control is the likely result if the UF gives up internet stewardship as planned at midnight September 30th. What's it going to do? It's not going to let me go any further. Well, that is unfortunate right there. I'm going to leave this to you, but that in itself is very disturbing. So it says we need to really kind of pay attention to these stories, because while we are asleep, Obama administration is doing things that we are unaware of, and we've been having this fight for this internet for a long period of time. This is the place where there is a lot of freedom at this point in time, a lot of information being passed. You don't hear the mainstream news talking about what's going on the internet so much because they want to keep people away from the internet. Why? Because this is where truths are being expressed. So they want to shut that down as best as possible. They want to definitely shut that down. There's information, George Soros, in his documents that talk about some of what he wants to do is make sure that only people that have this open society ideas in mind to be on the internet. Anything else that is beyond that, he wants to avoid them being there. Why? Because the internet is showing people truthfulness. See, when you watch the mainstream news, you got Fox. Fox is the definition of mainstream. I know they try to tell you that they're not, but they are. You got Fox, you got MSNBC, you got CNN, CBS. Think of them as sheepdog. They're all sheepdog, and they're gathering the sheep, and they're going to gather them all together. Now, maybe all these dogs might look a little different, so you can identify each of the dog by the way that they look. And we might think that, oh, the dog that Fox uses is different than the dog at MSNBC, and that's different than the CNN dog. They may be different. They may have a different sound, the way they bark, and maybe a different collar on them, maybe look a little different. But they're all leading everybody and rounding everyone up to the same pen. So it doesn't matter that the dogs are different. That's the whole idea. It's to confuse people to think that you really have a choice in what's going on. But you're being rounded up into the same locations. What we need to hope for is that there are people within the media, these mainstream networks, that are going to go out on the limb to try to tell the truth about what's going on. However, we see that that's not the case. We see more stories out there about media bias. There's a story out there now about CNN and the distrust that people have there. There's a rumor going on about Megyn Kelly. We'll see if this one turns out to be true or not, that she is more liberal-minded and actually wants to support Hillary. So this seems to be some cause of friction over at Fox, if this is true. We certainly know over at MSNBC the bias that goes on there. So we're not getting good reporting. And we can go back to the National Defense Authorization Act. And there was a provision in there that removed the restriction on propaganda. So the media can now use propaganda upon the American people, and it's okay. They can use government-sponsored information that doesn't have to tell the people the truth at all, and it's okay because it has been made basically legal to lie to the people because the government thinks that they know best. And that's what happens when you give over too much power to the government, too much control. Now, one of the issues that we're seeing is we have a government that wants to keep bringing in people from other parts of the country, refugees. And while America has no problem bringing people into the country that need help, we do have an issue with bringing people into the country that want to harm Americans. And unfortunately, the places in the world where these people are coming from are areas known to have terrorist activities going on, where they're known to have radical terrorists that have different ideals than the American people. And so these people are the ones we need to keep out. Unfortunately, they're coming in all together, and so we are having a hard time deciphering which ones are the good people to let in and which ones are the bad people. And this is the challenge. The thing that we need to remember is history. When Muhammad and his followers first went into Medina, it wasn't strictly as an open invasion. They went in as refugees because they were pushed out of Mecca. They went in as refugees, and they were welcomed with open arms. And once they got in there, they converted people who were weak-minded to what was going on in Medina. So they converted them, they built their resources, and then they attacked the very people that allowed them in. And they attacked and they took over, and the people that weren't killed became slaves. And this began their foothold of now their takeover of that part of the world. So they're continuing to spread Islam in the same way, continuing to spread it. We see what's going on in Europe. We see what's happening in America. We're finding and hearing stories about these mosques, which are having great deals with arms within them, or are located next to these safe zones where there's lots of weaponry that is found there. The question is, why do these religions of peace, why are they stockpiling weapons? What are they doing? Well, Americans better wake up, because while Americans are thinking that Islam is a religion of peace and we should let them in, they're training their kids to come over and kill American kids. And I think Americans need to be aware of that. I want to show you some of this video right here. This is a video that was taken of what Muslims are teaching in the UK and European schools. This is a video that was filmed secretly. I want you to hear a little bit of this. See what you think.
And out of Islam, he doesn't want anymore. What are we going to do? Kill. Kill. Yeah, kill. Then have to be killed. You understand? We're talking about Islam. For the had the zina, what is the law of this? Until he died. And the one who is not married, he never dies. Now, with 100, if someone make themselves like a man, a woman like a man, you understand this? The punishment is kill. Kill them from the highest place. And not going to be like animals, living like animals. Or to be like the people of Lut, we have to take the had is
Okay, I'm going to leave that to you to watch more of it, but as you could see, they're not teaching them to go out and be peaceful. They're teaching their kids to go out and kill others who don't believe in their ideologies. They're teaching them to go out and actually kill the homosexuals that are opposed to their idea. That's a problem. This is what they're teaching their kids. But see, Americans are kind of short-sighted, thinking, no, this isn't real. They're a religion of peace. We want to bring them over here. We want to allow them in. This is what they're teaching in the schools. This is what they're teaching the kids. So while American students are running to safe zones and to segregate themselves because they've lost track of what their ancestors did to move them forward in this country, these other countries are teaching their kids and their young ones to come to America and to kill Americans because they don't believe in our ideas. Well, why can't they just stay in their own country? Because they want to spread Islam. They want to spread Islam throughout the world. They want to conquer the world. That is their objective. So if we Americans don't wake up to this, well, we're going to have quite a problem. And if anybody has any question about the Antichrist, all you have to do is look to Islam. They don't believe in the Christ. They don't believe that Allah had a son. Therefore, by definition, they are an Antichrist religion. They don't believe the same thing as Christianity. That's why the Christians are getting killed, because Christians are believing in a being, the Christ, that the members of Islam saying doesn't happen. That's blasphemy, because Allah did not have a son. Therefore, anyone who says that is blasphemy against Allah and deserves to be killed. So they have a completely different ideology. And I think more people are waking to see that, but there's still a lot of Americans who seem to be confused about this whole issue, and they're buying into the story that our government is telling. What I have to wonder is when I hear the people in the mainstream media telling these lies, or some of these government officials telling these lies, I have to wonder why they think that they are immune from the very things that they're lying about. If there does get to a point where there is a huge invasion, do they think that anyone that approaches them to attack them is going to stop and ask them what political party that they are part of before they kill them? Or are you a journalist because, for one of these liberal networks? Because if so, then I won't bother you. Is that what they're thinking is going to happen? Because I'm pretty certain they all have families, and I'm pretty certain they all want their families to be safe. So why wouldn't they be telling the truth about the dangers that are out there that are affecting not only them but their families should these problems really continue to grow here in America? We're seeing what's taking place in other countries. We're seeing what's happening in Europe. Europe is a country that is sadly not like it used to be, and that's unfortunate. So we have a glimpse of what's coming to America if we don't pay attention. We need to pay more attention to this. Now, turning our attention to WikiLeaks, this is some information that has continued to come to light as more and more people are investigating what's inside of these emails that have come out. There's more stuff that's being found. Here says WikiLeaks has been Hillary Clinton's worst nightmare for months, but they just dropped the biggest bombshell yet. They released emails which confirm just how serious Hillary Clinton's debilitating health issues are. First, we learned that Hillary Clinton reached out to the NFL commissioner in 2012 to ask for advice about dealing with her cracked head and head injuries. But the details are even worse than that. It has been confirmed that the State Department staff under Hillary Clinton was told to research new drugs to treat Parkinson's disease. Now, just why would a government employee at Hillary's State Department be researching this topic? WikiLeaks reports, you decide. It says, we know now that as Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton dispatched her executive staff in the State Department to help conduct research on Provigil, a controlled drug often prescribed for patients suffering from Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and multiple sclerosis. Provigil is often used to help such patients stay awake and curb extended bouts of sleep. The drug is also used to treat narcolepsy. In a series of emails spanning from August to October 2011, Clinton asks and receives information from her trusted inner circle on the drug Provigil, including the side effects of the pick-me-up upper drug favored by long-haul truckers to stay awake for long periods of time. Clinton refuses to release her medical records to the public. Last week, True Pundit placed a $1 million reward on the release of her full medical record. Clinton is now rumored to be suffering from a plethora of medical ailments, including dementia, post-concussion syndrome, Parkinson's disease, brain tumor, brain injury, complex partial seizures, and many more alleged ailments. This email is a smoking gun that confirms just what Hillary Clinton is desperately covering up. Okay? Multiple doctors have expressed concerns publicly about Clinton's signs of Parkinson. Even Dr. Drew is worried. Health issues should generally be in private matters, but the American people deserve to know if a potential commander-in-chief is suffering from a serious disease. There's no cure for Parkinson's, and if Hillary Clinton has it, she should drop out of the race now. All right, so this is very troubling indeed, as we know by now that Dr. Drew is no longer going to be doing his show at CNN. That will be coming to an end, and it was canceled right after he made this statement. So apparently CNN, the Clinton News Network, didn't take too kindly to somebody speaking about their boss, and so he's going to be gone. Now, there's a lot of other stories out there you can find about Hillary's health. You can find stories about her blackouts, about her memory loss, about aides and people she's working with, talking about her going into tirades where she's just speaking gibberish, or she's getting angry. There's a story out there of her punching Bill, giving him a black eye. This isn't the kind of person who should be in a position of power, shouldn't be the commander-in-chief if she has erratic behavior due to some mental medical condition. So it's very important that this gets dealt with. Indeed. Indeed, it needs to be dealt with. Now, another thing that happened over the course of this weekend, very important, is the support for Trump is continuing to grow from the African American community. Very, very good. Three big things happened I want to show you about right here. First one was Trump receives a huge endorsement from civil rights leader. Martin Luther King's niece, Alveda King, gave a huge endorsement for Donald Trump. All right. It says, watch MLK's niece endorse Trump. He can put America back to work, back to church, back to school. All right. So I'm going to leave this for you to check out. I'm going to move on to the next story here. Here we have Black Men for Bernie founder to end Democratic political slavery of minority votes by campaigning for Trump. Black Men for Bernie founder Bruce Carter's mission to restore black communities didn't end when Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders lost to Hillary Clinton in the Democratic primary. He opposed Hillary Clinton and the Democratic establishment then because he knew that they didn't respect the minority communities he engaged in politics to fight for. After the leak of internal DNC emails, Carter is convinced that the Democratic Party rigged the primary against his candidates and that Hillary Clinton's Democratic Party has no intention of changing the policies that led to the destruction of the communities he's working to improve. Bruce Carter still believes that Hillary Clinton is the poster child for the kind of cronyism, corruption, and evil that the Bernie Revolution has built to overthrow. He doesn't believe Hillary Clinton when she labels Donald Trump and his supporters as racist because he knows she falsely labeled her opponents in the primary as sexist Bernie bros. Carter's preparing to take the experience, knowledge, and contacts his group built during the primary to campaign against Hillary Clinton and for Donald Trump and other Republicans' battleground states across the country. Bruce Carter and Black Men for Bernie are at war with the Democratic establishment, whom he says panders for votes but haven't delivered a meaningful result to minority communities for decades. Carter became politically active to support Bernie Sanders, who taught him how the establishment's only real constituency was the donor class. When he paired that knowledge with what he knew about the decline in the black and minority communities he loves, he realized Democratic politicians and the media had been lying. Bernie inspired us to disrupt the status quo because it only works for the elites and not regular people who are struggling, Carter told Breitbart News. If black communities vote for Hillary Clinton and Democrats in November, nothing will change because Democrats will continue to believe they don't have to do anything to earn our votes. All right, and then finally one more. Black Panther's leader praises Trump's speech, rips the Democratic Party, says we're being pimped like prostitutes. New Black Panther Party leader Quanell X went on local Fox Houston station to discuss Trump's outreach to the black community. Quanell had this to say about the Democratic Party. We're being pimped like prostitutes, and they're the big pimps pimping us. The new Black Panther leader, Quanell X. Donald Trump decided to go to Milwaukee and speak about the conditions in America and why he thought black people should vote for him. He even went on to lay out the reasons why we should. Let's say this to the brothers and sisters who listened and watched the speech. We may not like the vessel that said what he said, but I ask us to truly examine what he said. It is a fact that for 50 years we've been voting for the Democratic Party like no other race in America, and they have not given us the same loyalty and love that we have given to them. We as black people have to re-examine the relationship. We're being pimped like prostitutes, and they're the big pimping us politically, promising us everything and giving us nothing in return. We got to step back now as black people, and we got to look at all the parties. Barack Obama, the president, the first black president ever, but did our condition get better? Did things get better? The condition got worse. So, very good. So look, people are waking up. The black community is waking up. It's very important. The black community has been used by the Democratic Party for years. You can go and you can find the history of what has taken place. The KKK came from the Democratic Party. The groups that were opposed to ending slavery were the Democratic parties. It was the Republicans that wanted to free the slaves and ultimately did with Abraham Lincoln, but they were fought tooth and nail by the Democrats. And along the way, all of the different programs that were put in place, like affirmative action, were only meant to keep black people down by giving them handouts in exchange for their vote, basically buying their vote for a free phone or a little bit of money or this or that. And so the big trick they're trying to tell you is, oh, the Democratic Party switched at a certain point in time. They were actually the Republicans and now they became the Democrats. And that's not true. That's not true at all. They're just trying to hide the fact that they've had this corrupt past for such a long time. They're trying to hide the fact and think that people are stupid and going to believe their lie. People have to stop believing their lie. We have Hillary Clinton who is lying over and over again. There's stories out there relating back to when she was removed from the Watergate case. Why? Because she was thought to be a disreputable lawyer then, that she was lying. There's a story out there of a girl when she was 12 years old who was raped and wounded badly so that she could not have a child. She continued to live, but when she went to court, the lawyer railroaded her. The lawyer said that this 12-year-old girl was asking for it, that this 12-year-old girl wasn't a virgin at the time, that this 12-year-old girl was fantasizing about something like this happening to her. And because of what this lawyer did, the person who committed this crime, this horrible crime, got off with only 2 months in jail. Well, the little girl's life was really ruined, and as she continued to grow up, dealing with all of this, one day she happened to turn on the TV, and she saw the lawyer that was involved with this case, and she realized that that was the person who had lied about her. That lawyer was Hillary Rodham Clinton. You can go and you can listen to tape. There's audio out there of Hillary discussing this case, discussing how she got this person off for only 2 months, and then laughing about it. This is a woman who is not a nice woman. This is a woman who has a mental condition that is brought on by some serious medical situation. There's so many things wrong, so many lies going on. For some reason, the FBI has let the American people down because they show that they are actually in bed with this corruption rather than standing against it. It's hard to believe that the entire FBI have become that corrupt. I don't think that's the case. I think there's some higher ups within the organization that have become corrupt and are probably having a lot of infighting going on there, because FBI insiders that have spoken out through the various sections of the dark web and the deep web and stuff, they have spoken out and said that the problem is so huge, there is so much corruption that the entire government will be brought down, because it involves from the president on down. Just look at how many people are involved, how many people will support this lie. And the lie goes back a long time. So it's good to see that members of the black community, such prominent members, are waking up and understanding this. Because for 50-some years they've been lied to. And for 50-some years they haven't had their conditions change, and we can look and see how bad the conditions are where they are now. Because nothing has changed. Because all they are looked upon by the Democratic Party is a vote. Rather than trying to do anything to fix it, all that Hillary wants is a vote. All she wants is a vote, and she thinks if she carries her hot sauce with her to an event, that will impress somebody, because then they'll say, oh, look at Hillary. She's got her hot sauce, as if that's all she thinks that people are worth. If she thinks people are that stupid that they'll buy into that, because Hillary has hot sauce, that they better vote for Hillary. Hopefully, people aren't going to. Hopefully, more people are going to wake up. Those that don't, well, what are you going to do? You can't help it if not everybody's going to wake up. We just need a big chunk of the people to wake up. And it seems that it's happening. Not only the black community, but the Hispanic community as well. This last weekend, there was an event called the Operation Taco Bowl, which took place in Anaheim. Very successful event. We have Latinos for Trump, which are coming out. We have the blacks for Trump. We have more groups that are out there, minorities, independents. There's Democrats, which are changing over now to the Republican Party because they're seeing the corruption. People have eyes they can see. And all we have to do is use those eyes and not get caught up in the lies of the mainstream media. Remember, the mainstream media are just sheepdog. They're all leading us to the same pen. They may look different. You may say, yeah, but Fox News is for the people. MSNBC isn't. But both of them are leading you to the same pen, to the same slaughterhouse. So it doesn't matter if they're different. Of course they're different, because Fox News has a different set of viewers, and they have to use a different tactic to get those people to the same pen that the people from MSN need to use. They use their tactic. But ultimately, everyone's going to end up in the same slaughterhouse pen and wonder, how did we get here? I was listening to Fox. How did I get to the same place where all of you people listening to MSNBC are? Or CNN? How did we end up in the same slaughterhouse? It's because that's where all the roads are leading. That's what all the objectives are. Again, go back to 1917 when the media was taken over. 1917, and there's been a continual effort of controlling the media over all of these years, over all of these nearly 100 years of control. Now we have 6 corporations where the majority, 90-some% of the media goes through. 6 control 90-some% of the media that you get. That is why people are so misinformed, because the same story is being told over and over and over as propaganda to push you into a direction that they want you to go. It's time to stop listening to them. Remember, we are the people, we've got the power, and there's more of us than there are of them. All we have to do is stand up. All we have to do is stand up. So, now that we understand, again, the problems and we see the problems at hand, we need to turn our attention to the solutions, because only giving out the problems, that doesn't do anything except make people worry. It frustrates people. The solution at all times is always a spiritual solution, because here we are in this physical reality, but there's the fire, the water, the air, the ideas, the emotions, the words, and the actions that all affect the physical. We can't change the physical by fighting against the physical within the physical realm. We see what goes on when you have all the competitions and the battles. Sure, there's challenges that take place there. There's opportunities to have success, but the greatest way to succeed within the arena is we have to go to the spiritual. We have to go to the higher energetic areas that lead to the physical, that create the physical. If we look at the recipe, it takes the fire, the water, the air mixed together to make the earth. So in order to make the physical, we have to have the fire, the ideas, the water, the emotions, the air, the words or actions. And that's what creates this reality. That's how we operate the best. And that's what all of our spiritual teachings tell us, every single one of them. From Buddhism to the words of Jesus to the ancient words of the Native Americans, on and on and on. Prophetic words indeed, just let us know. So we hear many times about that there are many souls down here that are here for a specific purpose. Well, this article is about starseed traits, asking that question. It's by Greg Prescott over at In5D. Have you ever caught yourself stargazing for no apparent reason? Have you ever wondered if your soul is from another star system? Do you feel like Earth is not your home planet? If you answered yes to any of these, then you may be a starseed. The term starseed outwardly seems very hippyish, but when you dissect the truth behind the energy signatures that we were born into, then you would already know that our zodiac signs and consequently specific planetary influences already control what we look like, our qualities and faults, our life challenges, and so much more. However, while these planetary influences may only subjugate ourselves within the current incarnation to apply to specific traits and qualities, they also show how we came from the stars. Thus the question still remains, what solar system did our souls incarnate from before we came to Earth? If you look at the number of people on this planet, the number keeps growing, which means that new souls are incarnating every day as older souls depart. Where do these new souls come from, and how new are they? Is it possible that some of these souls came from other star systems? Okay, good question. It says many of us have led previous lives from other star systems. While the empirical scientists will undoubtedly question this belief, they cannot disprove it either. You just know it, and no explanation is necessary. These are some of the thoughts that are looked into and are locked into our cellular memory as you are beginning to recall who you are, your purpose, why you're here, what you came for. This is also why many starseeds are empaths. Many empaths came here to absorb the negative energies that is imposed upon us by the ruling elite. They can also sense the difference in energy signatures between various planets and solar systems, and innately how the planet is not their home base. Many starseeds are discontent with fear-laden propaganda on Earth and are beginning to remember the love vibration from their planet of origin, which makes them so much more difficult for many starseeds because the love vibration is much denser here than where they came from. This in turn may cause depression for some starseeds, but they will not be recognized or acknowledged by most therapists who are brainwashed to just give them drugs. Give them drugs. Okay, so it says many of us have hit the wall in terms of relationships we have, whether it involves a divorce or losing friends who just don't get it. For many people, it seems like the universe has specifically chosen the point in time for us to face our biggest challenges, which is a blessing because it helps us to further our spiritual progression, being able to learn from these situations. Because you are a starseed awakened, you've been able to recognize the difference between our perceived perception of reality that compares to where we originally came from. Okay, and here's, did you hear the call? All right, so did you hear the call? We've heard that term before. I'm going to leave the rest of the article for you. You've heard this term before. Dolores Cannon talked about it quite a bit. Did you hear the call? Many people have heard the call. There are many, many, many of us, millions of us, who are here right now because there was a specific purpose for us being down here on Earth. This is a time of great change, and we came here to assist in that change. However, once we hit this Earth density, we oftentimes lose memory of why we came. And then over the course of a lifetime, we start remembering a bit more and a little bit more. That's why we see some people and we think, wow, they're so advanced in what they know. How did they get to learn something like that so quickly? Sometimes information is this information that would take lifetimes to learn, and yet people seem to have that knowledge just at their fingertips because we've lived multiple lifetimes. We've gathered this information. And once we are able to tap back into remembering who and what we are about, it helps us to understand why we are here. Because we're all here for a purpose. There isn't anybody here right now that isn't here for a purpose. It's just remembering what that purpose is. And if you're feeling that the world is out of sorts, and if you're feeling at odds with all of the lies and the distortions and all the negativity, well, then you understand already what your purpose is. Your purpose is to stand up against that. Your purpose is to find a way to help overcome that. And so we all connect together. There's many of us, millions of us, that are out there to want to see this change. Millions of us, because that's how much it's needed and how many souls were needed to come back to balance out all the negativity and the darkness that has overtaken. But here we are in the grand battle, this big finale that's getting ready to happen. And I see it as a big finale because, as I've talked about before, I think that there are clues as to the timeline that we are in. I listen now, I think of some of the important books that explain this time as the Book of Revelation and other books from the Bible. The Book of Enoch certainly ties right into all of this as well. In the Bible, in the prophecies that are there, I look for words and phrases that sound like words or phrases in this lifetime. It talks about the abomination of desolation. It's a phrase, the abomination of desolation. So, abomination is what I'm going to key in on. In this day and age, in America, our nation of America has a president named Obama. So, we are truly an Obama nation. It's not spelled the same way, but it sounds the same. So it tells me that there's some synchronicity to pay attention to. Are there other clues? Well, The Bible also talks about, during the prophetic times, it also talks about trumpets. And trumpets come in quite often. Trumpets are usually associated with God, and they have to do with an announcement of something. The two candidates that are running on the Republican side are Trump and Pence. When you say their name together fast, trumpets, 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 it sounds very much like trumpets. So these two in itself, abomination and trumpets, tells me that there's more than just a one sound, one word coincidence. Now there's multiple things that start pointing me in the direction. Anything else? Well, we keep hearing the term Lucifer coming up. Ben Carson's talked about Lucifer as an influence to Saul Alinsky's Rule for Radicals, and how this is something that is used by Hillary as a mentor at times. So another character that's part of the end times prophecy. And we can keep going on and on. There's many other things that are in there. So we are, in my opinion, in a very significant time. But we shouldn't worry. We just need to do our part, because everything's going to work out. A book that was kept out of the Bible, the book of Enoch, kept out of the Bible for a good reason, because it says what's going to happen right in the beginning. How, when God returns, the wicked and the godless are going to be removed. Not the righteous and the elect, the wicked and the godless. And they know who they are. And they don't want you to read and know about the book of Enoch, because it says what's going to happen. We just have to trust that what is unfolding now is bigger than what we realize. It's bigger than what we realize. It's a situation that has been unfolding, that has a spiritual significance to it, that is beyond just the normal physical events. So again, we have to look at the physical reality, and we have to rise above that. We have to look beyond that to see what's the bigger picture. The bigger picture is we are here, millions of us are here to effect a positive change. And there is a change that is taking place that indicates that the good guys are going to win. We just have to go through the phase right now of not getting caught up in what the bad guys are saying, because their job is to lie. They're going to say that they're going to win. They're going to attempt to cheat. They're going to attempt to steal. But it doesn't matter what they're going to try to do. It doesn't make them effective in doing it. If you think of any sports challenge that takes place, you have both teams telling the other team that they're going to win. In the weeks leading up to the game, you may have them talking about each other in the press about how we're going to kick that other team's ass. Well, the other team doesn't cower and not show up to the game. They just know it's part of the talk. We can't get caught up on all of the talk about what they're going to do. Doesn't matter. What they should be worried about is what we are going to do when they make their efforts to try to do the dark things that they're attempting. There's more of us, my friends, more of us than there are of them. There's more light, there's more positivity than there is darkness. We just need to stand up, because we've been oppressed for too long. We've been held down too long, not by reality, but by chains of ignorance, by illusions, by the illusion that we don't have the powers that we have, the ability that we have. But we have plenty of strength, more strength than we could possibly imagine. So all we need to do is put on the armor of God and stand strong. And if we don't understand fully what the armor of God is, that's okay. If we don't have a full understanding about what God is, that's okay. All we have to do is trust that there's a power that comes through the inside, that expresses itself through us, that is an unconquerable, an indestructible power. And all we have to do is express that. And when we do, we're going to watch amazing things happen. And we're going to see big change. And I believe this change is coming to us now and over the rest of this next couple months. The election is coming in November, November 8th. That's a time of great change. Everything that they're going to throw everything, including the kitchen sink, at us to try to stop that change from going on here in America. Doesn't matter what they're going to try to do. We just need to keep being positive and keep at 'em, keep at 'em. Know the strength we have available to us. All right, here's a message. Archangel Gabriel was channeled yesterday. Here it is.
2016 by Shelley Young. We understand that during times of great intensity and fast-moving energies it can feel like life is happening to you. Please know you are an active and loving participant in all of it. In fact, these are the times your soul has been excited to be part of. If you are feeling buffeted by the energies, call on us to assist. Let us know if it is too much and we will do our best to help you find more comfort. We are always available to you. There are many things you can do to create greater comfort for yourselves, as well. Willingly moving with the energies, also known as surrender, is key. Practicing energetic clarity, see the daily message from August 23rd for more on this. Meditation, immersing yourself in salt water, grounding, and being kind and gentle with yourselves are all things that can help. The beautiful thing about ascension symptoms is the discomfort is temporary, yet the rewards are great. For every bit of space you create from releasing, you are integrating brand new energies that support you in being the most glorious versions of yourselves you have ever experienced in your body. And that, dear ones, is something to be embraced and celebrated. Archangel Gabriel.
Okay, that's a good message. Doesn't it tie right in with what I was saying? You know, if we feel challenged, if we feel there's too much going on, there's help available to us. There's plenty of guidance around us. We may not see it, but it's there. We just need to tap into it. There's plenty of goodness. We have to step past whatever fears we think there are about, oh, we don't want to talk with anything or communicate with anything outside of our vision because that's bad. And we need to let that go. We need to understand that God's love, God's divinity, God's help exists in many, many forms, both seen and unseen. And those of us that are here, we need just to recognize that and understand that we can move forward because we're not alone in this, not alone by any stretch of the imagination. So let's go ahead and let's do our meditation for today, close things up, and wrap things up and move on. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and exhale. Take another deep breath. Exhale again. Now, imagine yourself standing in a dressing room, and hanging up there is a suit of armor. This special armor, this armor of God. And you take this armor and you put it on. And as you put it on, it fits perfectly. It's light. It's comfortable. It feels perfect. And so as you walk into the world with this armor, you notice that there's a lot of darkness existing in the world, and we see those out there throwing things at us, words meant to hurt, and they bounce right off. We don't feel a thing. We continue to move through and we understand the darkness and the anger that people have, and no matter what negativity comes our way, it just bounces right off and we are unaffected. And as we continue to move through the world realizing this, we feel stronger and more confident inside. And as those beings are trying to affect us with their negativity and they see it bouncing off, we see that they are intrigued, wondering why they cannot affect us. And once they ask that question, we send them light, we send them love and positivity, till they find the darkness dissipating from their beings, and they too feel encouraged to change their ways and take on the armor, take on the strength of divinity that flows through them. And one by one, millions of us move through this world, protected from the darkness and negativity, protected from the anger and all of the words of doubts and fears. We move through, changing and affecting the darkness. We pray, Heavenly Father, Heavenly Mother, thank you for the blessings of your love, your light, your protection, your unconquerable spirit that flows through us. Thank you for allowing us the opportunity to be vehicles of this spirit in this world. And though we may not understand all things that need to be understood about how you work, we do understand enough to know that by simply allowing your presence to shine bright through us, we make the world a better place. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, now and forever. So let the subconscious mind continue moving through this world today, wearing the armor of God, knowing that we are fully protected, and sending out positivity, love, light to any encounter that is caught up in the darkness. So let the subconscious mind continue on that journey. And let's bring the conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3 coming back to the present moment, filled with confidence. 2 coming back to the present moment, filled with faith. And 1 coming back to the present moment, happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale, and open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That's the show for today. Thank you so much for being here. Remember, we are all in this together. We can make the changes in the world we need. We just have to keep being strong. When someone gets discouraged, we help lift them up. Because at times we all go through ups and downs of thoughts or feelings. It's just part of what happens down here in this physical reality. But we are all, each and every one of us, connected to a higher power that flows through us. And that allows us to move to this world knowing that we shall be victorious, because the spirit that flows through us is a spirit of victory. We just have to allow it to shine. And I know that we can, and I see every day it happening more and more. I know you see it as well. So let's just keep on doing what we're doing because it's working. Let us keep letting God flow through and shining bright, because as all prophecy says, though there will be challenges and though there will be attempts by the darkness to try to take over, the good wins. God wins. And the darkness and the evil and the godless, they will be sent away. They will be defeated in their efforts. Good wins, bad loses. That's just the way it goes. Just keep remembering that. All will be well. That's it for today. I'll be back tomorrow with more news and information. Have yourselves an awesome day. I love you. Keep loving each other, and I will talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.